It's Freddie Coleman time here on the Friday edition of Big Board Sports on 104.5 at Team ESPN Radio. Always a fixture here during the NFL season, and we love to hear what's on the mind of Freddie Coleman, ESPN's Freddie and Fitz, of course, that you can hear nightly here on 104.5 the Team ESPN Radio. Good morning, Freddie Coleman. How are you?
I'm good, my friend. Always good to talk to you each and every Friday. And how are you?
We're doing well. We are doing well. I said, what am I going to lead with Freddie this morning? And I think we just got to go Giants again, Freddie, because now you've got the return after the streak is now broken and the coach is gone and the GM is gone. Coach Spags is going back to Eli Manning. Is that the right move?
Oh, absolutely, because Eli Manning should not have been benched anyway. And when you have Ben McAdoo, or right now as I call him, Ben McAdon't, when he made that decision last week, you had to have the feeling that even if Geno Smith won that game, even if the Giants beat the Oakland Raiders, I didn't think Ben McAdoo was going to be long to be the head coach of the New York Giants. And this is step one of their whole tear-it-down rebuilding phase, because they were able to move the coach and general manager out of the way. They installed Eli Manning, who has 4 games to prove if he wants to stay in New York, which I believe he does, but maybe too many hurt things have happened that he may want to move on, and maybe the Giants want to move on from him. But this is the right move to put him back at quarterback because he did nothing to deserve being benched like he was for last Sunday.
Freddie, do you think that Eli's under center with the Giants starting in 2018?
I don't think so, Roger. If you're going to rebuild, even if you get good again, he's going to be 39, close to 40 years of age. Who's to say that Eli Manning is going to be the kind of quarterback you need to win a championship or build a championship team around him? I'm not saying that he's at the total end of his career, but he's a lot closer to that. And let's be fair, Eli Manning has not played well this season. Not all of it has been his fault, but we've seen his skills and his talent erode because he's gotten to be an older quarterback. He's not a cyborg along the lines of Drew Brees in New Orleans or Tom Brady of the New England Patriots. He's still a functioning quarterback. He's still an effective quarterback, but he can't be the guy that you can put on his shoulders and win a championship. And if the Giants recognize that and realize that, I don't think he's going to be under center next year. I think he'll be with another football team.
Freddie, what's up, man? What did you make of the Rob Gronkowski hit and then subsequent one-game suspension?
Well, the hit was just completely ridiculous. I think anybody with a brain and 2 eyes in their head would clearly see that that was above and beyond any kind of rules and any kind of sportsmanship in the NFL game. I think the thing that bothered me the most was not the one-game suspension. I had a feeling that it wasn't going to be more than that, especially when the Patriots, after this week, they play Pittsburgh next week. Mm-hmm. You can be a conspiracy theorist, but I look at it that the NFL, with all the black marks they've had against them, the last thing they needed was one of their stars not being for that game, and they need that game for ratings. But I thought it was really ridiculous that Rob Gronkowski decided to appeal this one-game suspension. I said, are you out of your mind? Are you completely crazy to think that you should get a pass on this, what you did? Because if you had landed completely wrong on Tre'Davious White could have suffered a serious injury and not just been put in concussion protocol. And then you give what I felt was a half-hearted apology last week. It seemed like he wasn't sorry that he did it. He was sorry that he got caught doing it and that the backlash came really down hard and frequent and swift on him. So that's the part that bugged me, was the fact that he looked at that and he decided, you know what, I'm going to appeal this. I'm sure Bill Belichick had to have been shaking his head at Rob Gronkowski saying, you can't be serious that you're going to appeal this, when realistically, if that had happened to you, if Tre'Davious White had did that to Rob Gronkowski, he would have gotten at worst a 3-game suspension from the NFL.
Freddie, I that was my first thought, is what are you doing appealing? Are you kidding me? First of all, you apologized after the game was over, and then you're going to appeal? You are so lucky it's only one game. It should have been more. I don't know what that was, Freddie. He just snapped.
He just snapped, and I'm not going to punish Rob Gronkowski and say that he's a dirty player and anything like this. I get that he was frustrated. He felt that officiating was not going to be in his favor. He felt he was getting held and nothing was being called against the Buffalo Bills secondary. We all have been frustrated in situations. We all have had that moment where we've lost our mind. But when you lose your mind, don't try to say, well, the reason I lost my mind was because. We get it. We understand that. That still does not excuse what you did to Tre'Davious White, that you really could have seriously injured this guy, a man who has a family, a man who's trying to provide for his family, and because you didn't like the way that the game was being officiated, not in your favor, that's what you decide to do? Because Rob Gronkowski has talked about how much the NFL players believe in the code, that you can't do that. You can compete hard against each other, you can try to knock each other down, but you can't do stuff like that. So then you have that moment. You do it, and then you try to appeal it and try to make an excuse for it. To me, that's about as wrong as what he did on the football field last Sunday.
Freddie, ESPN's FPI gives the Browns a 40% chance to win this week. Is this the game Cleveland gets?
No. I'm giving them 100% chance because I'll say this. By firing Sachi Brown, their general manager, they're in a better position in terms of having draft picks. They have 12 draft picks in the first 7 rounds, in the 7 rounds of the NFL draft coming up next year. They've been able to get some salary cap space, but who wants to go to Cleveland and play? If you're going to play for that team, you're just going there for a money grab. I just think even though they're playing a little bit better, they couldn't play any worse. They're 0-12 right now. I was trying to find a win on their schedule, and I can't see it. The fact that they're getting 40%, maybe that's like a whole Vegas thing, where they're hoping people be suckers and take the bet and believe in Cleveland, and then they lose again. Then you're like, wah all over again with the Cleveland Browns. I don't want them to go 0-16. I would love to be wrong. I just don't think they're going to find a way to win this weekend.
Freddie, the Jets are at Denver. They've not done well on the road. They've only won 1 game on the road, but still they're a 5-7 team. This is supposed to be the team that only wins a couple of games, and they're going to tank, and they're going to get one of the top picks. At what point does this organization tell Todd Bowles, you've really done a good job with this team, and you're our guy moving forward, and get that off the table?
I think the New York Jets are going to wait till the end of the season, and it's not because they don't want to do it. I just think they want to let this play out from the standpoint of let them finish the season. Let's see what we have. We know we have a gem of a coach here in Todd Bowles, because people looked at this team as the gang that couldn't shoot straight before the season got started. And I'll raise my hand. I thought this was a 3-4 win team at best. Think about this, guys. There are 2 bad interpretations of a rule from maybe being 7-5. Going into the final quarter of the NFL season. That's how they've been this season. They've been that kind of team that found their identity, that no matter what happens, we're going to fight you tooth and nail. They've been able to find future stars. I think Jamal Adams is going to be a future star safety for the New York Jets. As a matter of fact, he may be a current star right now. Todd Bowles does such a tremendous job of getting these guys to play at their best level. Now you're going to be able to fortify that, and he should be a part of that future. I think the New York Jets as an organization are doing the right thing by not even talking about it now. Let the season play out. Let the season finish out. Then they'll do something in terms of extending Todd Bowles. That's the complete right thing to do. And I think that's the thing they're going to do, but not have it be a focus right now with a team still in a playoff hunt chase when it comes to the AFC.
Freddie, I want to get your take on one thing away from the NFL. I'm not a father, and my DNA certainly would not produce NBA talent, but I'm wondering, is LeVar Ball just so far ahead of the curve that we don't quite understand him, with the news that LiAngelo and LaMelo are going to sign with the same agent and play on the same team overseas?
I don't know about ahead of the curve or far beyond the curve. I'm not buying that from LeVar Ball. Here's the problem that I have with him. And believe me, I get what he's doing. And I warned people last year, don't try to be in the same muddy waters that he is, because he's going to be better at that, getting attention and building his name, than you're going to be. I clearly understand the game that he's playing, and he's going to be a master at that. I'm not faulting him for that. But at the same time, when you pull one kid 16 years of age out of school or homeschool him, if that's a parental decision, that's fine. If you want to pull your other kid out of UCLA because you believe that he is not getting the treatment he deserves, even though he's the one that created this situation by being part of shoplifting overseas in China, if you believe he needs a new situation, okay, I understand that. But to have them sign with an agent with a promissory note that they're going to be in the NBA, and you're taking away experiences where these kids are going to be outside of the Ball family, I think that's going to do a lot more harm than good, because I'm hearing from just about anybody that I've talked about LiAngelo Ball, there's no way this kid's going to make a European roster. So even if he makes a roster, it's going to be in some far-flung league that is not going to bring out his talents, or going to be appreciated, or going to be representative. So if you're doing that, and all of a sudden that doesn't work out, then what? then how are you going to manage that as a parent? I think that's the one problem I have with that, with LiAngelo Ball and LaMelo Ball being pulled out of school. If it doesn't work out, I wonder what kind of system is in place that they're going to have something else other than basketball to compete in the most important game, and that's the game of life.
Freddie, you're the best, man. We always look forward to your visit here on our Friday show, and hope you have a phenomenal weekend, and we'll talk to you this time next week. But, again, thanks for a few minutes, Freddie.
My pleasure. And by the way, enjoy the Albany Cup this weekend between CN and Albany. That's going to be a fun time.
Oh, we will.
Do you want to make a pick and tick some people off?
well, Albany's a better basketball team. I mean, Cremo's played extremely well. They got a nice rotation of 8 to 9 players that they can throw at Siena, but in rivalry games, you never know what's going to happen. I think Albany wins a close one. This game will be a higher scoring game than usual people are seeing. I got Albany winning this one 80-75.
There you go.
Okay.
There's a little prediction right
Love
there.
it.
You're a better man than me. I'm making predictions on this game. I'll tell you right now.
Well, your contract's obligated that you can't be that biased since you cover the games for Albany.
Freddie, you could appreciate the fact that I just stay away from it. I've learned my lessons the hard way over the years, my friend.
Believe me, you're a lot smarter than I am because I don't live up there, so I can say these things and stay far away and have people deal. I can deal with people next year when I come up.
Right, and they may not even remember what you said by the time you come back around next year. So it's all good. Freddie, thanks so much.
Wins. They're going to remember.
Yeah.
Believe me, they're going to remember.
Yeah, you're probably right. Thanks, Freddie.
My pleasure, gentlemen. Have a good weekend.